I spent thousands of hours making 3D characters, all both designed and created in Blender by myself, and in this video I'm going to tell you guys some of my most important tips for making your characters look a lot less bland and a lot more nice. I use these tips in like all of the characters that I make at this point, so I hope you guys are going to find this video useful. But before we start this video, you first have to remind yourself that you're better than you think, because your mindset is what's going to actually allow you to get better and consistently improve. So remember to always tell yourself that, and yeah, let's get into this. By the way guys, I also have a complete beginner's Blender tutorial if you're new, so you can check that out in the description if you need it. Okay, so tip number 1 is keeping the forms of your face crisp and clean. So I really wish I had learned this a lot earlier, back when my characters looked super creepy, had no soul, and they looked like they were something outside of Five Nights at Freddy's. So let's talk about it. So a lot of people in their characters' faces will make a lot of the forms be kind of muddy and blurred, and just not be very confident with how they place the forms of the face. My friend made this character here, for example. Obviously it looks awesome, already honestly, but one thing that could be improved is more confidence when it comes to the features of the face, and more sharpness. So what I mean by that is basically for any of the features of the face, you want to kind of have them more sharp rather than being like super soft like this. You want to kind of make like a bolder statement with your forms. So for example, for the under eye area, you can see I just kind of made that sharper. Obviously I'm doing this in kind of like a painting program just for demonstration purposes. Obviously normally I would do this in Blender. You'd kind of make things sharper overall, and that would just allow it to be a lot more crisp. Around the nose as well here, you can see it's very blurry, which is not necessarily bad depending on the style you're going for, but generally I like to keep things nice and crisp, so something like that. As you can see, we kind of like outline the form of the nose a lot better. Maybe more like this, and then maybe you could even have it be sharper down here a little. And so something like that is just going to help you to get it look better and better. For the lips as well, you can see here, oftentimes what we want to do is push in here, so I'd add in some more darkness in this area as well. Still looks a little funny obviously, but the point still stands. We're just kind of like making stuff harsher overall. I'm doing this with a mouse, by the way. But yeah, so overall, just want to sharpen things up and not have things be unnecessarily blurry. Okay, let's move on to the next tip. Okay, so tip number 2, understand that there are more than just 2 levels of lighting. So when you're making a character, keep in mind there's not just simply a highlight color and a shadow color, there's kind of more than that as well. Basically, take this character for example. You can see that the light is hitting it over on the side here very nicely. But what you also need to realize is besides the sun, there's also an environmental type of lighting coming from above. So I have these extra shadow areas in the character which I'm able to easily adjust. This is something you can kind of also accomplish with ambient occlusion, but to be honest, I feel like drawing them in a lot of times helps to make it look even better. So yeah, this is just an essential thing, especially for like anime or stylized type of artworks, and it can make an absolutely huge difference in your work. This is without it, and this is with it. So yeah, always think about this. It's just going to make your characters look way more realistic in certain shots, especially when the sun is kind of like going from, not like hitting the character fully, it's kind of like on the side, almost like a rim light. In situations like that, something like this is going to have a big impact and difference, so keep it in mind. Okay guys, so tip number 3 is to contrast bright/dark details relentlessly. So years ago when I was making characters, I would always wonder why they looked so detailless. Like I would think I was Albert Einstein reborn from just having slapped on a toon shader onto my model, and then I think like that's just like the best thing ever. But soon my dreams were crushed. Anyways, through my struggles eventually I learned this important tip. Let's actually take this character I did as an example. This is what the actual model looks like here, right? Nothing too insane, but when we go to shaded view, it has all these awesome details on it that were never there in solid view. And that's because what I did was draw tons of scratches and extra folds in it. For scratches, you draw a dark area and then a bit of brightness underneath it to kind of give it the impression that it's a real actual scratch, when it's totally fake and kind of like tricking the viewer in a way. And the same goes for folds, but just the opposite way around. Be careful though, because for anime styles on the other hand, you have to be more sparing with this overall and can't do it as much. Otherwise it might lose like that signature anime or manga or comic type of feel or whatever you're going for, right? So you have to keep that in mind, and also certain styles of clothing will have more crazy folds and stuff like that than others. Obviously it depends what your character is wearing and all of that good stuff. Like for example here you can see on my shirt, or on my shoulders specifically, there's not like that much folds on it or anything, and that's because gravity is just like pulling it down. It's just like hitting my shoulders very naturally, and that smooths it out. So, you know, there just wouldn't be like as much folds here. Obviously, I'm wearing kind of like a big sort of, I don't know what it's called exactly. I got it from Japan. It's called like a yutaka or something. And you know, just like really big. The point I'm trying to say here, sorry for like rambling, but the point is it's big. It has a lot of folds on it naturally, so yeah, you just keep in mind the type of clothing that you're making, and you really just have to like think about that and like how you would model it out. So yeah. Okay, so tip number 4 is understand the style that you're doing and what the general best practices are. Now the point I'm trying to make here is what you have to understand is painterly styles and anime styles and stuff like that, they have their differences. For more painterly styles, I often do things like shifting the hue or saturation slightly throughout the model in certain areas, like around the edges of her clothing here on this character. And I use grunges and textures and stuff like that too that are just on the model. But if I'm doing a more anime type of style, I might still use this a little, but in general I kind of just like stay away from it mostly, if not entirely, for anime style models. So keep that in mind as well. The style that you're doing matters, and for different styles, there's certain best practices obviously for painterly stuff, or just like general stylized stuff, you're gonna have like more details maybe overall. But anime style, you have to be like more specific, how do you say, like more sharp and bold with what you make on the model. Oftentimes you won't have stuff that's like blurry as much, because naturally it's like a toon shaded style, right? So just keep all of this in mind, and yeah, let's move on to the next tip. Okay, so tip number 5 is develop an eye for eye-catching fashion. So when I went to college, I was not at all a fashion major or anything like that. But funny enough, through these years of making art, I've learned more about like what makes a better outfit or like a better character design and how to make things look nicer. So generally when I'm making my characters, I use this one trick that I'm going to share with you guys now. Basically, initially, I put what I'm inspired by into a sort of reference board. This can be for entire outfits or for just like a specific part of the outfit, like for the shirt specifically or for the pants specifically. It doesn't matter, but basically, I'll just screenshot the reference board, maybe even flip it also to kind of see it from another angle. And what I'll do is I'll just zoom out from it a lot sometimes. And I feel that doing this allows your brain to sort of see it in a more primitive way for each type of outfit or individual piece of clothing you're trying to decide on, because it becomes very vibes based. You're not getting bogged down into the details, and you're looking at it as a whole overall, understanding the shape and contour better, rather than just, you know, like being like up close and like distracted by details. So something like this, it'll just help you to see what type of clothing is going to look better on your character overall, what's more eye-catching. That's a big one too. It'll help you to understand that. And, you know, doing this will just help you to plan better and make better decisions if you're someone who wants to design your own characters. Okay, so tip number 6 is let it cook, or stop finishing it too early, or stopping halfway and then like never coming back to it in the future. The point of this tip is that you have to find a way to push whatever you're making to the next phase of quality, and doing this will allow it to almost always look better. So how do you do this? Well, first you need to of course stop looking at what you're making for a little while at least. I know a lot of people have like tons of unfinished projects, but you can actually kind of think of those unfinished projects like a blessing in disguise, because when you don't look at something for a while, you can then come back to it later and then compare it to whatever, you know, works you were inspired by originally, and see what you made was lacking like really easily, because, you know, you haven't been looking at it for a bit, your eyes aren't as tired of it or like numb to it. I guess that's the terminology that I'd use. So this is what I call kind of letting it cook. You kind of sprint, where you work on it for a period of time, and then you take a break for a little, then you look at it again later, and then you see, you know, what was lacking. Oh yeah, also an extra thing that I do with this sometimes is I'll even kind of like send it to my phone, maybe look at it with like the brightness down or like the brightness all the way up, just to kind of see like what the vibe is when another person will see it, if that makes sense. Because if what you made was like too dark, for example, I know this is more like an environment thing, but I know, you know, if you make something that's like too dark, then you're going to realize that immediately once you send it from your computer to your phone. Because on your phone, if your brightness is low, you're going to realize it's too dark. And yeah, so there's just like so many different ways you can see your work in a new vision, and seeing it in a new vision is going to allow you to improve it better and push it to the next level. So let it cook. Don't just like say, oh, this was like a total failure, because oftentimes you have to just push through the ugly phase. Okay, so tip number 7 is like another tip. It's basically an experimental tip, not meant to be with the other ones, that I just wanted to include in here. So you might be thinking, like, what on God's earth do you mean by don't compare apples and oranges? Basically, what I mean is that whenever you're making a character or taking inspiration from different things, you have to keep in mind that the stuff that you're taking inspiration from is never a direct situational equivalent of what you're making. Let me give you an example, because that probably made no sense. So let's say you're making a character with more horizontal type of eyes, and you end up trying to take inspiration from, you know, some other type of art or like some other type of characters that have like wider, cuter eyes. Doing something like that is just going to be harder, because naturally if you're taking inspiration from something that's very different, it's going to be harder for you to get a high quality vision in your head of what you're making, if that makes sense. So I think like an easier way for me to explain this maybe is if you're making a certain type of character and you go and you look for like inspiration images and you start taking inspiration from images that have like crazy lighting on them on the face and like all this stuff, doing that just like won't be that good. Because if you're just on the stage of like making the face of your character, but then you're taking inspiration from something that has all this crazy lighting and all that already, it's like not going to be as easy to do that. You'd want to find something that's more like neutrally lighted, kind of like how my face is here right now in this video. So yeah, I'm sorry if this one didn't make complete sense. It's kind of just something you will learn though as you make characters more and more, especially if you're someone who designs your own stuff like I do. So yeah, that was just like a bonus extra experimental fun tip at the end. Now guys, if you're someone who does want to learn to make characters, whether it be in anime or painted style, you should totally check out my masterclass, because you can learn even if you're a beginner. We have full courses on topics like anime style characters, painted style characters, scenes and environments as well, and our members are having an awesome time learning and making awesome things in 3D that they just weren't able to before. So if you're struggling to learn Blender or want a way faster path to learning it, check it out in the description. And yeah. Okay guys, so that is it for this video. More awesome content like this, more characters are being made, and more scenes and animation stuff like that is coming soon. So thank you so much for watching, and have an awesome day.